Well, got lost my second time being to the Iwo Jima Memorial. It's absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to just start a vlog series called Getting Lost. Come up here, and unfortunately DC doesn't allow you to carry firearms. So try to make it a controlled getting lost. Here, Huey. Well, let's try to get out towards the airport. But anyway, anytime I go to some Marine Corps memorial, it always makes me a little sentimental. Lots of my family in there. Not in the memorial, but in the Corps. One of the things I kind of kicked myself for not joining in high school. So everything happens for a reason, though, right? So I do believe right now we are one of the islands here in the Potomac. Navy Marine Memorial. Yeah, this is the Columbia Island. Lots of boats down here that cost as much as a house. So there's Pentagon across the way here. Yeah, I came out here a couple years back. On the North Lawn, they had an event during Trump's big, it wasn't big, the 4th of July celebration that was everybody like compared to Russia and China's Elephant Walk. It was really neat. I actually just deleted a bunch of photos from it because, you know, firework photos are firework photos, whether it's in your front yard or in DC. So, let's see what's up here. It's a little sketchy. Let's see what's going on. Ugh, I'm not taking all the gear off and everything. Let's walk over this way. But anyway, so we were out there on the North Lawn, I think you call it, of the Pentagon. And by the way, you can't even get to the White House right now. It's all blocked off. So, yeah, we'll do a DC tour a little bit more. I mean, if you want later, right around all the memorials. Try not to get robbed. Actually, I'm really kind of blowing it out of exaggeration. It's just there are a handful of neighborhoods in DC that you just don't go to, just like most big cities. And unfortunately, I don't really know where those cities are or the main avenues going in and out of DC, so I try not to adventure out there all that much. But we will work on it this summer. I don't have my watch on. Let's see what memorial this is. So in the meantime, oh, this guy. So this, I do believe, is the Lyndon B. Johnson Rock. It's a memorial, but DC is pretty. Ain't no doubt about that. Sometimes when you're down there, it doesn't feel like the States. But here's Lyndon's big erection. Oh, don't want to walk on that. Huey. So I do believe the Army and Marines run a lot of VIP transport up and down the Potomac here. And I do believe that's probably what that is there. So there's two more out there. And it's interesting times to be in this airspace too, with everything going on. Like I said, they've got like 3 blocks around the White House blocked off. Usually you can go up to the fence that you always see in the movies and Beavis and Butthead when they've got the camper out front at the end of it. Yeah, you can't go on that street no more. Not a whole lot you can do in DC, at least around the White House itself, with all the stuff that's been going on. So. Alright guys, well here she is. This is my 2015 BMW R9T. Back then they didn't have the Pure, the Class, or the Racer, and the Urban GS out yet, so this was all you got, and this is what I wanted. So I feel after they released those other ones, things may have cheapened up a little bit. So I've still got the Brembos in the front, BMW calipers in the back. 1170cc boxer twin there, just under 100 horsepower. This is brand new to me. It's only got 2,700 miles on it. I just hit 2,800 actually on the way up here. So now with the R9T, obviously you get a pretty standard naked bike out of it, but that's okay. I mean, this is what I wanted. I wanted a real simple bike, but the R9T gives you the Akrapovic exhaust. See if you can see it there. So the stock exhaust made by Akrapovic. Sounds great. It's a little quieter than I want, so I'm going to work on maybe loudening it up, but I've gotten old. I don't care for stupid loud, so we'll see. And I don't want to spend $1,000 on like a Rizoma or something. The seat sucks. One thing I have noticed with this, the bars are really light on the ends. They're all like aluminum bars or something. And so after about an hour of highway riding, you get a lot of vibrations from the boxer. And that definitely goes to your right hand. And your throttle hand goes a bit numb. Wunderlich fairing, so this is an aftermarket option. And I'll be honest, I don't think it looks the greatest. But I do a bit more highway riding than I used to, so that's staying on. This thing looks super slick and gorgeous without the fairing on it. Check them out. A couple differences between the first generation and the later generations are your clocks. So the later generation, you don't have this center information display, which I kind of like. You just have 2 standard clocks with the digital information on the bottom. And some of them, you just, like the Pure, you just get a speedo. You don't get the tack and all of that. So I prefer this first generation with the gold upside down forks. Brembos in the front, the mono blocks. I think these are the M50s. They are nice brakes. They work very well. The front end is a little bit softer than I remember, which if you'd like to check out a review, I did a review of one of these bikes about 6 years ago. Luckily I didn't make videos for about 5 years, so it's not that far down the channel. But anyway, so this is my new one. We'll hop on the bike and I'll tell you a little bit why I chose the R9T over a lot of the other options and what else I was shopping for. And she's rather quiet. So one thing about these R9Ts and a lot of these BMWs of this era is the ABS. That light doesn't kick off until you get 4 revolutions of that front tire. And that just, is what sets the sensor every time. Not really sure why they set it up like that, but that's what they did. So one thing I have noticed about the R9T is the gearbox is clunky. A lot of people call it a box of rocks, the old 1150 transmission. But she is plenty quick for around town and things like that. And I've still got the S1000 RR. There's Pentagon, and so I didn't need a rocket ship. So, so when I was looking to get a new bike this time around, so the VMAX is unfortunately going to be finding a new home here shortly. I love that bike to death, but it just doesn't get ridden as much as it should. So it's going to have to find a new home. And this is what's replacing it. A much more tamer version. Kind of the same attitude. It's a very unique bike. A head turner. So the R9T doesn't get the same respect as the VMAX was, which rightfully so. I mean, this thing was not a record setter or anything else like the VMAX was years ago when it came out. And then when the 1700 came out, that thing was a beast and a rocket ship. So I did not expect this thing to be anything like the R9T or the VMAX. So, and I'm looking at getting more into like adventure riding and things like that. Since I moved out here, I've gotten a little in touch with camping and the outdoors, which is something I used to love to do as a kid. And so I was looking for something like that, but realistically, it'd be a 90% on-road, 10% off-road. So I did not think that it was necessary to take this here. I didn't think it was necessary to buy an adventure bike, for one thing. Or the other option that I was looking at was the Triumph XR 1200, or not XR, yeah, the whatever the Triumph Scrambler 1200 XC, as in X-Ray Charlie. I was looking at those, but they were a lot of money, and spend that money, and I have no idea where the hell I am. So anyway, this is my life out here without a phone mount and a GPS, and you just go in circles. So I figure if I go far enough down here, there has to be a way back over there. Otherwise, I'll cut through the limo lot. Anyway, this is Reagan, DCA airport over here. It's also time travels back to 1944. Anyway, so I was looking at the Triumph Scrambler XC, but the pricing on those, I mean, it's quite a bit more than what I wanted to be at. I was trying to stay around the $8,000 range, and somehow I snagged this at a hell of a deal. And so, yeah, this isn't getting me where I need to go. So I was trying to stay around the $8,000 range, under $9,000 for sure, and the Scrambler just wasn't going to do it. And honestly, like, I've got a really tight quarters right now with my townhouse, so it was going to be a bit too big of a bike. I was looking at them, and it's dirt bike size. I mean, the Scrambler looks like an amazing bike, but it's definitely a bit bigger than what I need. And so let's see here. So yeah, so the Scrambler was going to be too big, and I didn't think I was going to use it off-road as much as the cost would have warranted. So, man, he had a dead bird. That bird had a bird. So I, really kind of leaned away from it and figured, I'll get something that's a little smaller, a little more roadworthy, and, I'll pick up a dual sport or something later. So, because I'd hate to really learn my off-road riding. Besides a little bit dirt bike riding, I don't have a whole lot of off-road experience with two wheels. So, I figured that I'd just wait on that. So this popped up at the same dealer I bought my S1000 from, and the same dealer that I had borrowed a R9T from in the past. I gave them an offer. They counter-offered. It was already a hell of a deal, so I just couldn't say no to it. So I drove out to Missouri and picked it up, and here we are. So